All right, we're going to learn about the sine ratio today. So we're going to start off with this warm-up. 0.457 equals x over 7. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is you want to multiply 7 on both sides. And the reason we do that is it makes this 7 on the top and bottom cancel out. And after we've done that, we end up with 7 times 0.457 equals x. And then so let's multiply them together, and we get 7 times 0.457, and I get 3.199. So x equals 3.199. Okay, let's do one more. We've got we want to solve for x. So another thing you can, an alternative way of thinking of it is I could put this over 1 and I could cross multiply, and I would get x times this decimal equals 1 times 5. So that would be written like x times 0.643 equals 1 times 5. I'm just going to write 5 because you know 1 times 5 is 5. Okay, so if I want to get rid of this, I'm going to have to divide both sides by 0.643. And when I do that, that's going to make it so that this here and this here is going to cancel out. So now I've got x equals 5 divided by 0.643. So now I'm going to get out my calculator. So 5 divided by 0.643, and hit enter, and then I get x equals 7.78. Okay, and that is the length of x. So it's important to understand the difference between this situation and this situation. Here the x was in the top, here the x is in the bottom, and they both kind of solve in a different way. You may want to rewind this and play again to see it again. Okay, so when we're dealing with sine ratios, the sine ratio deals with the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. Okay, and this ratio can be converted into a decimal, and this decimal has a relationship with angle side. So there's a link in Canvas that will give you the relationship between an angle and the decimal relationship. Now you can use this chart if you want, or you can use a calculator. So for example, let's sine 35. So I can type in my calculator sine 35 degrees, enter, and notice it's going to give me the same value, 0.5735, 0.5735. So like I said, I could use this table to make the conversion between the ratio and the decimal, or I can simply use the calculator. So let's do this problem here. I'm going to be using the calculator for these problems, and I'll show you the other. So here we've got our opposite side. I'm going to label it op, and here we have the hypotenuse. I'm going to color this in red, the hypotenuse, and so I'm going to write down my relationship. I've got sine, and we abbreviate it with SIN, sine of 25 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse, so x over 11.23. Okay, and So then I'm going to convert this ratio, or this, and find the ratio. So with the calculator, I hit sine 25, enter, and I'm going to get 0.423. So 0.423. Okay. Now, let's just say I didn't have a calculator or I wanted to use the table. If I go here, sine of 25 is equal to 0.423. So either way, I could use the table or I can use the calculator. So now I've got this decimal. It's equal to x over 11.23. So as I mentioned before, with the cross multiplying, I could put this over 1, have that equal that. So then I would get x times 1, I'm just going to write x, equals this decimal times 11.23. So 0.423 times 11.23. Okay, so let's do that. So I've got that decimal times 11.23, and I get 4.75. And that is the length of the opposite side, x. Let's do 2 more examples. Okay, so here I want to solve for x. I got my angle, my reference angle, so I'm going to get the opposite side, and I've got my hypotenuse, so I've got my sine ratio, sine of 47 degrees equals the opposite over hypotenuse, 7.14 divided by x. Okay, so with the calculator, sine 47, enter, and I'm going to get this decimal. So I'm going to replace sine of 47 with 0.731. And let's see if that works the same here. Sine of 47. Sine of 47, same thing, 0.731. Okay. So I've replaced sine of 47 with 0.731, and now I've got this equal to 7.14 over x. And like we did before, I could put this over 1 and cross multiply. If I cross multiply, then I end up with x times 0.731 equals 7.14. Okay, well now I want to solve for x. So I need to divide both sides of the equation by 0.731, 0.731. And when I do that, this is going to cancel out on the top and bottom. And then I end up with x equals, and let's do this, 7.14 divided by 0.731. So 7.14 divided by, now I'm going to use that same number so I can hit the answer button. So the answer button's down here. So if I hit second and this negative in the parentheses, I can get answer. And then I get 9.76. So 7.14 divided by 0.731 is going to give me this answer. Okay, now a slightly different situation. We want to find the angle this time instead of the side. So just like before, we've got the opposite side. and we've got our hypotenuse. And so, like before, so sine of the angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, so 6.19 divided by 6.88. So I've got the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. So let's do that in the calculator. So 6.19 divided by 6.88, and I get 0.8997. 0.8997. Okay. So equals sine x. Now if I'm using this here, now I'm going to find 0.899x and 0.899. So the closest thing I think we've got to that is this value right here, 0.898. That's the closest thing to 0.899. So that means I'm going to get 64 degrees. So basically what we're saying is when we have 64 degrees, we're going to have 0.899. Now, if I want to use my calculator, in order to go in reverse, I'm going to have to do something called inverse sine. So I'm going to hit the second button, and then I'm going to hit sine, and it's going to give me the sine with this little -1 value. And I'm going to plug in the decimal, so 0.8997, and then I hit enter, and then it gives me the angle. The angle is 64.1 degrees. So the calculator will give a more exact answer, and this is the answer that I found using the chart. I hope that helps, and good luck with the homework.